guys, welcome to earnings season. I'm at RT Row, Randy Row,
And I'm Danai at H Danai.
and that's at RT Row on Twitter in case anybody was going to call me that in real life.
Yeah.
And it's another week of earnings season. So then I walk on this week. Anything good? Anything new?
Not much. I think their earning season kind of closing up. Some companies have reporting to the state,
A
but that's
bunch.
the annual, yeah. And yeah, the annual thing, the annual statements for some people to come out at JMB, and you have some people delaying because they're waiting on somebody else's results. So
Like,
a bit of delays there. JMB itself delaying. Sagicor, maybe stop from something not that foolishness.
I
Um,
think we lost you a while ago. So that part again?
JMB.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jeremy, we have a bit of delay, so you know, it's a proven great delay, so you know that whole
Mm-hmm.
line right
Yep.
there. Yeah.
Which is funny
So
because Barita didn't delay, right?
anybody don't need to delay.
Because of how they recognize proven.
Yeah. Because they how much they own. They don't really they don't own associate stake or anything like that. So good.
Just a strong
But
single stake.
yeah. JMB thing there. JMB is the annual is it's the annual that's due. So they should be fine on that front.
Wow, that your net literally just went a while ago. You have something
But
else running?
nah, close everything and
I don't know. Probably just evening time. Well, we don't mind. So go. You can say it again. I'm sure by now everybody is used to flow. Did you sell or my sell? Flow, you're slow. Oh wow, big up killer, big up Beanie. You watch the Clash? You watch the Clash last week?
yeah, man, we catch pieces. Never watch highlights. So catch pieces.
Man, never in my life. It come on the same time as grow. I'm not lie. I literally consider stopping growing at the midlight and say, yo, I could go, I could go do it. I could just watch this and then tomorrow we'll go again. And the people don't like it. Grow, I mean, not the Clash, but the Clash, man, watch it afterwards and just, you know, it's a nice reminder how good things were and how good things can be still. In terms of reminding ourselves about the market, I think
Yeah.
those are things that stand out to me. A big announcement, although, is me trying to head off a whole heap of questions. The BOJ today, we're recording this May 26th. The BOJ today just announced their new Forex platform, FX trading
Yeah.
platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for
Launch.
yeah,
It's been in the works for a while now, but finally push it off.
yeah. And just before everybody DM us, it's not for regular people, right? If you
Yeah,
listen to
it's
this,
not you going online and say, all right, time to get rich. I know that different
yeah,
forex thing. Actual forex, foreign exchange.
yeah. So it's for the brokers, for the big guys. Yeah, but I know that a whole heap of them people selling the forex class is going to
Oh,
use
yep.
it as
You mean
a
I
big.
already see it from them saying, boy, this is the time. I see man with advertisement say, oh, this is the time. Even DOJ is online with us. So anyway,
Oh
it's
my
funny. So like
god!
crypto man them when you talk about even JSC is online with us. Like brother, like
Oh god!
I wonder if they understand it themselves and is filter it out and make it own that. You don't filter the crap to people, so everything it's like they use that sort of endorsement of sorts. They log in onto somebody else's platform to say, "Oh, yo, we're doing something here," and acting like say it actually makes sense, or they're just fully ignorant and think it's actually helping them. Cause you know, to be honest, out of the guys in the forex, they don't really know them and talk about more than so. They just know say, "Oh, them going and them do the trades and then them sell class." That's how they make the real money.
Correct, correct,
So
correct, correct, correct. And as somebody who sells classes, also, I know how annoying that can be. Then I find it really annoying because I've said it before openly. Said one of the things that bother me about what I do is that I see within the space there's just so many scammers.
yeah,
Yeah,
you know that go.
yeah, yeah.
Funny, or the guy I follow on Twitter, one of the guys I know that's doing forex trading, the type of day trading thing sensibly, and he's
Hmm.
always making fun of them, saying, "Boy, I don't see the need for a class." Like, and he's always throwing shade on that type of thing, saying, "Boy, we do this to make money on it. The class thing
Hmm.
that really makes sense." J.P. Morgan, what is name? Next big bank, Goldman Sachs. They're not
Goldman,
selling
yeah,
a class. If
exactly.
they're actually making money off it, is it? If imagine Goldman message me and say, "Boy, come to this trading class," me not great. You get me?
Yep.
So
Yeah,
it's
and
only
this
the
is the
model
truth.
of certain people. Yeah,
It is the truth because I can tell you this. The You do the class, you see how much time it take. Every
Mm-hmm.
week I wonder why do I do this? Because it pulls it pulls your time. It pulls a whole heap of time away from you actually trading. If
Yeah.
you're doing the class properly, that is. I'm talking about Forex. I'm talking about, well, my class, Grow, where I teach about general investing. But it takes time. And if you do it well
Yeah.
and I try to do it well, it just takes time. There's no two ways around it. Forex, no way. Forex
Sometimes
really
you
take
hear
the
Randy.
time,
You hear Randy telling you why he doesn't do the classes as often as you would like.
right? Well, I've been trying to ensure I do it monthly now since I've started back, and it's been going well so far. So one split every month and one full every month. One split, one full, one advanced. Yeah. This month actually, I should use this as an ad to say that this month the advanced grower class is going to feature the one and only top striker, and it's going to be talking about more short-term gains and I don't. I've said it before. I don't really do that much day trading on the JSC, meaning heavy
Yeah.
short-term trading. But
Mm-hmm.
she does. You guys, anybody who don't know, she does, go back and listen to, I think, episode 35, the one with top striker. Striker's gonna strike, or
Mm-hmm.
33. I don't know which one it is, but it's a great episode. It is my favorite episode so far for the year,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah. So she will be at the next advanced grow, which is happening the first week of June. So for those of you who are on the mailing list and have already done Grow, look out for it. If you have not done Grow, I don't care if you're really, really good at investing and you're on top of things and you're a total accountant and you understand it. Advanced Grow is not about your level of that. It's about an understanding of how we look at things. So I say all of that to say, don't pest me to come to advanced grow because you don't want to do the regular grow. All right. Do the regular grow so you can understand how we see things first. Because my version of investing is very, very apparently very different from
I like it
the
putting apparently.
yeah, I have to say apparently because I never knew it was I invest to make money, but that's not a common thing. So my version of it is what advanced grow is about, and being
So you're
introduced
not
to
doing
that
it for the
first.
likes.
Yeah, definitely not doing it for the likes at all, right? Apparently, I'm doing it just for my rent. Oh boy. Yeah, but with that said, it's good to see the BOJ continuing to push itself forward in a way that says that them not make things stop them
Mm-hmm.
at all. Outside of that, I've noticed that a lot of the AGMs have started now to be rescheduled.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I am taking that to mean that those guys know something that I don't know, because AGMs couldn't happen before because of the corona restrictions. And now I see a lot of them, especially today, a lot of them being announced for the second week of June. And Jamties have them AGM this second week of June. Who else? Wigton considering a dividend. That's a nice big deal there, especially at the price that I think that it is currently and showing something different. Uh, and if Jamty is doing their AGM, I figure that QWI and so said so done. QWI is about to have theirs also on the 17th of June.
Yep.
And that's two big ones for anybody who has been paying attention to either of those stocks. So I figure they're going to work it out. If you don't know when those things are, when other AGMs are, check out the Evermickle stock calendar. So you can put it on your phone, just like your regular calendar. It integrates with your Google Calendar, and you'll see a notice every day. Both of them on the 17th of June and more to come. And it will also be live streamed. So I like that QWI's AGM will be live streamed at qwiinvestments.com/AGM 2020. That's not an ad. It's the last time I'm giving away an ad like that. Having said all of that, yeah, not much, just more earnings season. We'll continue the market review. So we're not going to continue the market review this week. What we're doing this week is we have a guest. Yeah, we're bringing a guest, but I told him same it need to be chill at first, and then I dropped that joke because I had to drop this joke. So we have the one and on. I won't even tell you who it is. I'll do the joke first, and then you guys will figure it out. You know them? Do you know Banai?
You pick him up, you lick him down, he bounce right back. What a hard man for dead.
Bam, bam, bam.
You pick him up, you lick him down, he
Oh my
bounce
God.
right back. What a hard man for dead. Them say the cat got a 9 life, But this man got 99 life. Cause them pick him up, them lick him down, him bounce right back. What a hard man for dead.
The one and only Tyrone Wilson from iCreate, boy. Welcome, Tyrone. Oh, God.
What an intro.
Right?
Yeah, man. Blessings, blessings. Thanks for
Boy,
having me.
no, thanks for forwarding. I asked Tyrone.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I've asked
What
Tyrone
is
couple weeks ago if he even come back and talk, because I've seen a lot of chatter online, and the online chatter, as we said in the Laren episode, big up Manny Shorter, the Laren episode, online chatter seems to have gone beyond the limits of common sense sometimes, and
Yeah.
sometimes sense. Yeah, I don't know, something about the cloud seem to drive people crazy. We forget to say it's real people.
Yep.
Um, and Tyrone Tyrone has had a hell of a journey with iCreate. And we don't know. We interviewed Tyrone last year. Great interview. Very
Yes,
obvious that man know him talking about it. Also very obvious that he understands finance and he understands his company. And it's a startup. We expected certain things. If
yes,
you just look from even the prospectus, we expected certain things. And for some reason, a few quarters later, people seem to lose them head. Like, why isn't he making millions and millions? Write
yes,
him off.
yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. It's again, you're good intro. That means my eyes are being inside now, Tyrone, because I have to ask a hard question, which I will later. But
Sure.
it happened, and yeah, things kind of get crazy, and many people write him off. I think two big things that happened is one, the board was reworked a few times. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so you bring in a CEO, and then CEO left, and the board
CFO.
rework. Yeah, then you got a big loan, a big
Mm-hmm.
bond, I should say, a big bond
Right.
from Sagicor,
Yes.
and then you drop some results that said there was a heavy loss, and people really definitely write it off, and then wow, out of the blue last week, 2 weeks ago,
Yes.
yeah,
About that, yes. 2
yeah,
weeks ago.
yeah, drop officially some big numbers,
Mm-hmm.
profit, um, profit for the quarter, January to March 2020, 1.2 million against revenue of 24.5. Wow, how you do it, Tyrone? I will get that you're writing. How did you do it? How did you pull that off in the middle of this corona? Well, is that the start of corona, I should say?
Yeah. It was a start. Uh so I think that you kind of do the narration as I would, you know. Um,
Mm,
what we're seeing with iCreate is just, a part of the journey. These are expectations. Remember, on the program, when I came on the program before, it was, listen, it's a process. We're building
mm,
out. We're a startup, and it's part of the cycle. Obviously, it was a bit tougher than we expected from a
mm,
kind of revenue growth and so forth. But every quarter we recorded a stronger, um, double-digit growth in terms of revenues and so forth when compared to the corresponding quarter the years before. Um,
yes, yes.
which
This
which
quarter
show
more than 100% revenue growth.
right, and this quarter is you know um is an interesting one. It was before the COVID started.
Hmm.
But it's an indication of where we're headed as a company. You know, we recorded 106% increase in revenues. It's 24.5 million. It's more than 50% of what we made for the entire year last year in just one
In terms
quarter.
of revenue,
Right.
correct, correct.
Made an
Rapid growth.
operating right, and we made an operating profit of I think it's about 5 million or so,
Mm.
and a net profit, right, which is our first profitable quarter.
Yep.
Congrats,
And
sir.
yep,
Congratulations.
yes, thank you. And it is all round good work from the entire team at the time, from the various locations that we spoke about in the prospectus and in prior interviews. Some
Mm,
earnings from Mobe, some earnings from Trinidad, significant earnings from Kingston and or partnerships. Heart specifically that we
Mhm.
announced last year in terms of the partnership started showing signs in terms of bringing in revenues and so forth. And all of this together, gave us a massive quarter. It's a quarter we're very proud about. And it showed where iCreate as a company is headed. I mean, it took a lot. We had to obviously go through all the chatter and the negative, narratives and so forth.
Mhm.
But we kept focus. As a business, it's so important to stay focused on the long term. I'm not a quarter by quarter CEO, and I'll never be a quarter by quarter CEO. You're in this thing. Especially being a startup. Like one quarter is not going to define you. 2, 3 quarters can define you.
Mhm.
It's how you build out the long-term vision for the company and how you stay focused to that and execute around the short term to ensure that it bring you closer and closer to the long-term vision of the business. And that is what we're here for with iCreate. iCreate is we don't sell bag juice, right? We don't sell bag juice. We're trying to grow the creative economy. Our contribution is through training, and I think COVID-19 now has shown how important it is for an institute like iCreate to actually
Yeah.
transform and train our workforce. So some of the things we were preaching before that took a little bit of time to materialize and for people to take it seriously, the pandemic has kind of, pushed it to the forefront. And, people are realizing now the necessity of a business like iCreate. And, I think going forward, it will help to, make our case even better.
All right. I mean, I'm gonna start off with you say a whole heap of things here just now. I like that. The boy is some media trained, boy. Media trained well. Well, you say is our business in terms of what it is that you have laid out to do. So
Yes.
is it now? Because I personally think there's a little bit of a pivot in there. But what is it that I create now does? So
So I think naturally, like if you go back to our prospectus, we spoke about digital training and we spoke about creative training, right?
mhm,
Um, since this pandemic,
mhm,
um, we started some pivoting. You'd have seen some promotions out by the NCB Foundation where iCreate has been chosen as one of the training institute to provide short courses to individuals who have been laid off or lost their job, been upended by the pandemic. And
mhm,
those courses are structured around digital, right? Digital marketing, social media, customer service, digital marketing strategy, and those
mhm,
things, right? NCB recognized us as one of those institutions that could play a role in upskilling these individuals or reskilling these individuals to come
mhm,
out bigger and better post COVID. And you know, I think it was some of the work that we've been doing before, and I think quickly when the pandemic came, like we have a team that was so nimble, right? When the pandemic started, we saw iCreate playing a role, so we launched out a free course, intro to digital marketing basics. Say to
yes.
individuals, you can do this course for free. We use a one-on-one education platform, and I did just tweet about it, literally, right, from my account. We're going to give away some free courses, and trust me, 400 people signed up.
Well,
Yeah.
And this was before Jamaica had 5 COVID cases. It was it was like the first case, and the place started to lock down. I will put it out, right, and we put out that course of about 400 people signed up, but then we started having some discussion with corporate companies. Like, we saw that we're gonna have to close our classrooms. We can't have physical classes anymore. We started moving some stuff face to face, but then we started thinking, there are some partnerships that we can embark on now to prepare people for a new tomorrow. So we had a campaign out called a tomorrow I'm prepared for, right? Which was around COVID-19. Getting ready for a kind of job that is quote unquote COVID proof or COVID proof in the economy, and so forth. And that quickly took off, and we just started pivoting really quickly during the pandemic, and some opportunities came. I mean, obviously we had to make some cost reduction on our end, but we started pivoting and it has been going good so far.
So you are now, uh, I mean, you are always, you quoted the prospectus.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the notes in that one that, you deliver, but you develop and deliver degree and certificate courses to students in
Hmm.
the creative field.
Yes.
And that covers a wide thing. But at the time, you weren't really doing any sort of like, I mean, you had a digital marketing institute. I have that
Yeah,
right?
that
Digital
was
marketing institute.
right. That was the one thing. And a lot of this pivoting came from the association with the Digital Marketing Institute. Because even though it says digital, it covers
Mm-hmm.
even though it says digital marketing, it covers a
Mm-hmm.
lot more than marketing, you know. It covers digital and social selling, digital customer journey, a lot of the things that we need now, every
Yes.
corporation need now and need to understand today. So we were able to benefit from that kind of association to quickly pivot as a company.
Wow. I mean, I
Yeah.
like that. I like that you did that. But has that been paying off heavily? No, especially post this. I mean, I
Oh,
don't want you preempt
yeah.
your last quarter results, but
Yeah, I mean, we've seen, Foundation committed 25 million, and they're working with three institutions: iCreate,
Mhm,
NCU, Northern Caribbean University, and Internet Income Jamaica. So that's one
mm,
good thing. We just trained 100 manufacturers through a partnership with the Tourism Enhancement Fund. They funded the training,
mhm.
2 day training in social media customer service. Those are the things that are happening now for iCreate, even though we're not having our physical classes. So, I mean, this is something we're going to continue even after COVID.
Well, I
We,
think you have to.
Oh,
Come on, if the
definitely.
physical, if the physical class are go
yeah.
boss it as much anytime soon. But I always wondered why you never went digital from the jump, meaning put more into it. But
Yeah.
under, yeah, well, that's a good question. Why? Why didn't you always do that? Because it's
Well, it
less of
was
a footprint
somewhere,
for you.
yeah, it was somewhere we're headed, which is why it was so easy for us to shift to that, the minute
Mm-hmm.
COVID came.
Mm-hmm.
Because the team has been putting in groundwork. When we look at the kind of physical infrastructure that we built and how we could reach more individuals, it definitely wouldn't be by building out more physical infrastructure. That shit is expensive, So
Yeah.
we did that and we have it, and it was doing good for us. But then we saw. I mean, obviously, I've been a believer in digital from as far back before we even started training, and the work that we have done in digital media and digital marketing and so forth, even before I create. So we were, having the quick knowledge and being able to shift to that. We were able to move into it quickly, because it was something we were planning on even before COVID started.
Mm.
Yeah,
Wow. So you mentioned also Trinidad.
yeah,
That means that the
Yes.
expansion has started.
Yep.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We started earning from Trinidad last year, and it continued into this year. And we have a partnership with Trend Media, it's a digital company,
Yeah.
and we are rolling out in the entire Caribbean,
That was a world
through
class.
yeah, through their infrastructure and partnership. So I think now, we have it's kind of greenfield, for a company like iCreate to be able to, just roll out to the entire Caribbean through the digital kind of partnership, because they have sales marketing team in all markets in the Caribbean. So just put iCreate on top of that and we're good. So that's what we're doing now, and we're doing it with online. So we're
Mm-hmm.
not before we were kind of physical in Trinidad, but now we've
Mm-hmm.
shifted to online. I don't think we're going back to a physical setup. And we're gonna keep the online classes going and roll out in those new markets. We just trained a number of salespeople from the trend media side. Um, and we've had our strategic meetings, our marketing meetings, and everything. So it's just to get the courses out now. So there's a lot happening on that. We're pretty excited, and those are the things that will continue to push the growth that I create.
Mm-hmm.
She's right. I
Yeah.
remember our first interview, I had asked her about the digital and how quickly we are going to get to that.
Yes.
And here we are now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it seemed like it's such a long time ago, but I mean, it really isn't.
Yeah.
No, it's
It
It
just,
really,
just the
literally
other
has
day.
just the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
literally
It's
just the
not here
other day.
yet.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
less than a year.
Yeah, man.
Um, but no, the profit. I mean, as good as the profit was to see,
Mm.
the next question when it comes to profit, because the market don't ease up. I mean, how sustainable is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's thin. The margin, is thin. It's less than 5%, I think,
Mm-hmm.
at the time. But it was coming from, a huge loss. So
Yes,
it's a hell of a turnaround.
it
Um,
is.
to get to that. Can imagine how exhausting that is, but it's a hell of a turnaround, and I think it's much easier from here. They obviously in our report you would have seen that we've downsized a bit. Um, we've
Mm-hmm.
closed our Montego Bay location. I don't think our shareholders would have been happy with us trying to hold on to it with what has been happening with COVID-19, but also our the fragile cash position as a company at this point. We needed to cut all loss making centers in the business.
Mm-hmm.
And Mobe, the sad thing is Mobe was just picking up nicely. We just hired a really good assistant general manager down there, and she has transformed the iCreate operations in Montego Bay, and it's just so sad that the COVID has pushed us to closing that down. But we're still serving people from that location through the online um, learning and so forth. And we're now nimbler as a business. We've cut our costs by about 35% since COVID, and we still have what you find now is that when you look at our gross profit margins, and I think we have a gross profit margin of about 72%, 79% the last quarter. It improved to you'll find that maintaining a certain level of profitability will be much easier going forward, assuming that we'll continue to make something close, in terms of the revenue structures and so forth. So, we think the plan is to, of course, sustain that. It's always a plan to be profitable. I feel very confident about it. The decisions that were taken were some very quick decisions since COVID started. Some companies could have held out, but we knew what our position was, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and know that there is no tolerance to try and hold on to anything that is going to cost us. We had to be quick, decisive in our leadership, and keep a cost structure that keeps us afloat, right? Enable us to survive and to continue to be profitable. So that's where we're at now. And the plan is to continue that for the subsequent quarters. But I think the long term is just to continue to push the mandate that I create. That's the most important thing for us in our cycle that we're at as a business.
Mm. I get you. I
Yeah.
get you there. So you're looking on, but okay. So you very quickly cut your cost, so you wouldn't have had to deal with like paying rent for a place in Mobe when nobody's physically able to go there, but you have to keep
Exactly.
Yeah.
your rent
You're not
going.
making money, but
Yeah.
you're spending on it. It don't make sense to keep it.
Yeah, man. For us, it was a no brainer.
It's very
These
dark
are convers.
now.
Yeah, these are conversations that before even COVID, we would have as a board, as a leadership team. So the minute this thing came and we saw what happened, I think if you check back, iCreate was one of the first companies on the stock exchange to put out a
Mhm.
COVID plan, you know, to notify our
Yes.
shareholders about a COVID plan,
Yes.
and so forth. We were, I mean, obviously a way smaller business, so it's quicker for us to assess the potential impact. But it's something that for us we were very decisive about early in the game.
Yeah, you touched on one of the sore points for people right now. The board changes, recent board changes.
Why is it a sore point for people?
Uh,
Boy, it's a sore point. I tell you this as I think I'm a shareholder today. So as a
Yeah,
shareholder,
nice.
yeah, as a
it's figure
shareholder,
out what's going on. You don't know what really happened, so you just hear, oh, cool. A lot of the board leave all out in a very short period of time. So you want to know what's happening. Because generally, a lot of the board leaving would be seen as boy some go wrong. So
Mm-hmm.
what you can say about that?
Um, well, I think what has happened is that the stock exchange in Jamaica has not seen a lot of startups, right?
hmm,
That's one of the first thing. The
that's
only
true.
other startup they've seen as quote and unquote fail. So everybody's going to be nervous with another startup because they're judging it on the results of what was there before, which
Mm-hmm.
was which was not successful. Um, that company has since repositioned itself and is doing what they're doing. But it is not unusual for a startup to have changes in its board, even for iCreate. So what I mean by that is obviously I can't go into details of it and so forth, but any company, today you have a shareholder who is sorry, a chairman who is, you know, strong on governance, lead you through the troubled waters. And then next year you don't need that no more. You might need a deal maker or an academia, right?
Hmm.
Or you might need a growth focus person to lead certain things. And it's not just the chairperson, but the culture of the board and so forth. And with our board members, those decisions were not connected to COVID. It was not connected to, and it was their individual decisions at the
Hmm.
time, which happened and announced. And subsequent to that, we brought on, we decided, um, after all those resignations, we decided to move to having five board members as opposed to nine.
Hmm.
So the,
That
the,
was
the
a lot.
release, yeah, the release that came out, for me, clarity, the
Hmm.
board members resigned, and then we decided after the resignations that we're going to keep five board members as opposed to nine. We didn't cut the board to five. I wanted to make that clear. They resigned first, and
Hmm.
then we decided that, okay, we're not going to go up back to nine. We're going to stay at five. Um, our audit committee chair stayed on, which I think is very important
Who's that?
for Devon Lawrence.
Yes, yes. Who is
He
also a shareholder?
Yeah, who is also a
Yes.
shareholder. He bought in on the IPO,
Hmm.
and he decided to stay on as a director and chair for the audit committee. Dr. Jennifer Bailey um, decided to stay on, and she is now executive chair in iCreate, which I think is great for us as a company because She's extremely smart and knowledgeable in the whole area of academia, but also operations and so forth, which we do need, at this point in time, especially navigating the COVID pandemic. And
Mm-hmm.
we've added Natasha, who, former head of SME banking at Sagicor Bank, who came over from RBTT side. Um, Very important for iCreate, and Ricardo Allen, who is CEO of One on One, with his, he used to work at Sagicor Investment. Ricardo, as a first class honors in actuarial science, he got accepted to do his master's in mathematical engineering, and turn it down to start his own company. Right? He was a Fulbright scholar, turned it down, decided to start his own company. So he has that background, but he's a pioneer in edtech and online learning and so forth. And we think that is important for, iCreate, especially with the new direction that we're expanding into. So I think the previous board members have done a great job with iCreate prior to their resignation. And what I mean is that, it's not easy to list a company. It's not easy to navigate an expansion year where you're bleeding cash, and making a lot of losses and so forth. And with a startup, there are so many things, settling into being on the stock exchange, one, but two, putting in all those processes and everything in place, the governance structures, the subcommittees of the board, the bylaws, all of
S-
those things.
So that one was one of my considerations because with a board of five, how do you fill out the I don't think it's rules, but there's certainly best practices of audit committee and then compensation committee and
Yes. So we have the same, like a mail pack, for example. So if you look on like mail pack, board, they have a similar, I think it's five board members or something like that.
mm-hmm,
You ensure that you you maintain some independence, between the
mm-hmm.
committees and so forth. You have to
But
have a
how do you do that with
minimum,
five people?
right? You have a minimum three. So one, you ensure that obviously your audit chair and your HR compensation chair are two different people.
Mm-hmm,
Myself as a CEO would not be on the audit committee,
mm-hmm,
um, and can't be on the HR committee either. So it's tight, right? But you have the other members you can work with, and that's how we've done it. Um, so the audit committee have its three members, the HR and compensation committee has its three members, but they do intertwine.
mm-hmm.
And you're gonna have that when you have a five-member board, but you're still able to, based on the bylaws or how the committees operate and so forth, you still have, your independence and so forth.
Well, I wonder though, because it might be just me. I don't think that your committee members have to be board members,
No,
do
you
they?
can invite people to be on the committees, but I think from a
Without being
voting
board,
standpoint, yeah, I think from a voting though, it has to be the directors of the
it
company.
has to be directors.
Yeah, don't quote me on that, but
Yeah.
you can invite people on the committee who are not directors.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm almost sure that when it comes to like voting and signing off, like if you have to sign off on the audit, it has to be a director of the company. Yeah,
Well, yeah, I would definitely agree with
yeah,
that about the director because the director then has a fiduciary responsibility.
yeah,
But I don't. Well, I mean, it's an interesting thing, and you're right. Neopat does have a five-member board also.
yeah.
So I personally am not against that, because where you are now in terms of business, I still believe that you are at the forefront of something that Jamaica just not used to. Yeah.
Hmm.
You're very no, I still blame you somewhat because I think you were, as I said, when in the last you were here, I think in your prospectus you were very optimistic. But on the other hand, what do your is your company? You're selling it to us at a prospectus. I expect you to be optimistic.
Yes.
So like I wiped the prospectus numbers from my mind early. However, yeah, 'cause to me it just wasn't realistic. But I understand that you're selling something, and I understand why also, because Jamaica's business culture is changing and has to change. You said another thing earlier that I think is major. I had mentioned it to Lauren too. I like to hear you. I like that you said it, that the quarter by quarter thing. As much as you have to report every quarter, not every company has to be beholden to the quarters. You
No,
know, it
and
is. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
no. So listen, it you have a responsibility to your shareholders, and for me, I'm thick-skinned when it comes to that. Right? People are gonna um, have their views because they've bought into the company. They've spent their money.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They
Mm-hmm.
could have spent it somewhere else,
Mm-hmm.
but they decide to spend it with you.
Mm-hmm.
As the CEO, the founder, the chairman, or so, right? You have a responsibility to them to ensure that you update them on the progress of the business.
Mm-hmm.
What a lot of people feel is that every quarter is supposed to have good news, and they're
Yes.
entitled to the good news. We're buying this business, give them a good news, right?
Yeah.
You're building a business. And even the largest of companies, like when you look at Apple, Apple stopped announcing their iPhone shipment numbers now each quarter. They
Yes.
used to do
They
it, they stopped.
consolidated it. Yeah.
Right, because their focus has changed to services, right? Music, TV, cloud, right? All
Mm-hmm.
of these different things, they've changed their focus. So you might see a quarter where the iPhone numbers are less, and then their stock price is going to drop because, oh my God, Apple sell less iPhones than last quarter, right?
Yeah.
But the company strategy has changed. They don't want to sell more iPhone than last quarter. They want to increase the amount of services used on an iPhone per user, for example,
Ex-
right?
exactly. Because
Uh,
if you consider the, sorry, I just clear it up for people
yeah,
because I
man.
don't want people lost here. If you consider the iPhone to be like infrastructure, after
Yeah.
a certain point, they've sold millions and millions of
Yeah, they have a
iPhones.
billion iPhones around the world. So,
Exactly. Their focus is not around selling more of that, although it is there for them to sell more. But it's
right,
really about, from you have an iPhone in your hand, you want to make money off what we can put there, which is why you see now the focus on Apple TV and,
right, and
putting
those
service
things.
on it.
That's where it
Yeah.
is. So they've stopped. So because that put them on this kind of quarterly cycle. How many
Mm-hmm.
iPhones they sell, how many iPhones they sell, how many iPhones they sell, and that
Mm-hmm.
that is not healthy for the people running the company, right? It creates room for error. It it's an art. Business, it's like an art. It's like an art piece. You want
Yeah.
to put out your best work, and you have to be focused as a team. And when you replace your long-term vision with short-term um, successes, or pride
Mm-hmm.
yourself on short-term successes and forget the long-term vision, especially as a startup, right? You end up losing the creativity, the flair, the excitement that brought you into the business in the first place. And iCreate is not going to become that type of business that is just so caught up on making people happy, right? Or making people speak good about you. We are focused on building digital and creative careers, right? We see a future in 10, 15, 20 years when almost everybody being a game changer in the digital and creative economy, as I create on their resumes, right? They used to study with I create. And we're starting to having those success stories. We're seeing those success stories. Like, I mean, proud we saw Gabriel Aaron, I believe his last name, who is the digital, who was a vice president at Jampro. He's
Mm-hmm.
responsible for digital. He studied at iCreate. He did his professional diploma in digital marketing at iCreate, right? And he's leading those things. I mean, obviously, he had a knowledge about it before, but we're proud that he's an iCreate
Mm-hmm.
graduate, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. You
so
should be.
those are the things. It's like Mona School of Business running ads to put their the CEOs are this and that, and put that they used to study at Mona School of Business. That's what's happening with iCreate, right?
Yeah.
Almost every production that you go on now in Jamaica, I guarantee you're going to see an iCreate student every event. And you see photographers and videographers there is an iCreate student is there too. So that's the type of that's what we're doing. And that's when we haven't been around for 10 years, we have been around for 15 years. Unfortunately, we've just started operations, and those are the things that we are proud about. They pay for the courses, right? What we want now is for multiples of them to pay for the courses that I create and start to grow the revenue significantly. But it's going to take some time, and we're proud about it so far, and we're not going to subject ourselves to a quarter by quarter good news, bad news, great news scenario, right? We want to build digital and creative careers. Those aren't going to be built in a quarter, they're going to be built over time. And we're committed to that. And I think once we deliver on that, we will see the profits. Um, I hate to elaborate on it, but we have a 85% satisfactory rating at iCreate. And
That's
what I mean
strong.
by that, everybody that have done a course, we send surveys to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have 85% satisfactory rating. We just did a training with the Tourism Enhancement Fund, and we're at about 88% satisfactory online training they did, right? We don't have unhappy people with iCreate.
Yeah.
We have a good product. What we want to do now is for more people to use the product.
And I'm sure the shareholders want that too, because that mean
Definitely.
revenue. So yeah.
Exactly. So that is our mandate now. We master the art of delivering these courses well,
Mm-hmm.
right? When people leave, they leave with a skill set. We're not perfect, but we've mastered the art. And what we're doing now is we're now way more confident going out there and selling it. Because I don't like sell something I don't believe in, right? So we mastered it, and we just want to enroll as many people as we can now. And that's the plan with iCreate moving forward. Yes.
So how though? Because the question then there is how. How are you going to get people to
To do
look
it.
at you as the place to go and get trained?
Yeah. Well, that has started. We have thousands of people who are requesting info now. A lot of them are referrals. A lot of them see the testimonials. A lot of them, their workplace tell them about it, or they tell the workplace about it. But this partnership that we have with Digicel is what is going to bring us more. Let's say Trend Media, Digicel, Trend Media, which is the
Mm-hmm.
digital media arm of Digicel. They own Loop,
Mm-hmm.
and the text messages that you get, the different digital marketing methods, is
Mm-hmm.
driven by trend. And we're witness of their reach when we started the Trinidad work, right? Within days, we're getting thousands of people
Oh, wow.
requesting information on iCreate. So I think now we're rolling out, not just in those other markets, but in Jamaica. And I think that is going to now get us in front of, you know, hundreds of thousands of people as opposed to thousands of people before. So that's one other thing. And then we have to develop more programs, right? So we have to
Mm-hmm.
develop more courses, some that can be done online only, some that can be a blend of online and in person, and some that will just be in person only, like the more practical ones like graphic design and video production and so forth. So that's the
Audio production. Yeah, man, we're
the
big for audio
production.
engineer from when and nothing.
We're working on it. So like that's where we're at now in the cycle. That's where we're at now in the cycle, and we're pretty focused on that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, glad to hear it. But then
It is right.
Yeah, the questions that people ask. I mean, I know the inevitable question somebody thinking I want me to ask. I will ask it is, you're not worried
Mhm.
about Digicel and bankruptcy?
Oh yes.
And
Um, do you really think digital is bankrupt?
yeah, meaning. I mean, I understand what they're doing. I understand that they're in trouble, but I would have seen Digicel being in trouble for the last 10 years, really.
Yeah,
So,
but to be honest, I don't even think they're in trouble, right? They it's like Digicel as we all know, built the company on through debt, right?
mhm.
They built a company through debt, and now the debt is a lot. They,
Unsustainable levels of indebtedness, I believe they
yeah,
said. Yeah.
right. So they just need to figure that out now. I think they have enormous streams of income from
They do.
multiple
End markets.
sectors,
Yeah.
right? They're talking about even sports max, right?
Hmm.
Before before now I think they've
Corona.
sold it. Admark, right? Sorry, not Admark. Uh, the outdoor NOA, National Outdoor.
NOA, yes, which was sold to a local consortium.
Yeah.
Big up them.
Trade media is one such business too, significant.
Hmm.
You know, there everybody like just think about it for a second. Everybody in Jamaica has a digital phone.
Oh
Like
yeah, undoubtedly.
pretty
Yeah.
much everybody.
Undoubtedly, their
It's like
their their um their revenue is not what I would fret about.
yeah, it's the interest cost.
Yes.
But a business that scale wouldn't have challenges. Just using my imagination, bringing in equity um, players, right? So it's just a matter of what they plan to do next, and
Hmm.
people are gonna jump on certain things and jump. It's like when our auditors put out what they're saying about iCreate that they gave an opinion like, listen, the company make a whole year of losses, right? Um, don't have any cash. Um,
Hmm.
we're not saying it's a going concern right now, but we're putting in a little notice, right?
To say that
That
they're worried about it being a
they're
going
worried about
concern.
it.
Yeah, they
No,
worried about
no,
it.
what do you do with that as management, right? You have to start plan for it. Um, and it's like the similar thing on a way larger scale with a digital. They have bondholders from all over the world.
Hmm.
It's I can't even imagine how tough it is to negotiate in various languages with these bondholders, um, and it's a process. Like they have an enormous business. It's a huge business. They're a giant in the Caribbean, and it's not as if they're not making money. They're making lots of it. But as you put it with the debt, it's just something that they will have to figure out. This is no business is gonna run smooth. You're gonna have like you are gonna have to figure out something every day, right?
You
There's
must. Yep.
something now is debt. I create something now is growth and profitability, right? Sagicor something now is how do we be less dependent on in life insurance, right? Which is our cash cow. Same thing with NCB. How do we digitize? Like debt is just part of the challenges that you have to face. Like people sometimes put these things as if it's a death sentence, and it's not.
As always,
You
trust me.
know, it's just something that you're gonna have to figure out that you're gonna have to solve. Now the problem is, are you gonna solve it or not? I think digital has a great team. I mean, losing their CEO was a big blow for them. We have to look at those things too. They had a new CEO, and the guy died in Christmas time, right?
Yeah.
From a leadership perspective, can you imagine the setback they had with that?
Well,
And
I
remember
can.
the former CEO died from cancer the other day too.
Yeah, they've seemed to be going through a little bit of a rough, but I don't want to. We do have them on, so I'll bring it back to you because a lot of those things hit you too, because you had your CEO change. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Right.
with that sort of switch, how have you been handling stepping into that
You
role?
mean
Because
your change?
well, not as
Or, well, I'm the CEO. I'm still here. You
No,
mean
man,
where?
apologies, because you hired a was the general manager. You can tell me. I don't know
Yes,
what
a
the
general
terms were.
manager. A general manager. Yeah, so we
Yeah.
had Carl. We had Carl since 2017 when we were a division of eMedia, and he moved
Mm-hmm.
into the role as general manager. And he had to make some personal changes in his life that I can
Mm-hmm.
speak about now,
Mm-hmm.
which unfortunately one of the decisions that he had to make was, cannot continue with iCreate.
Mm-hmm.
Carl and I have a very good relationship. We up until now. We've been friends before him joining iCreate. And it's unfortunate that we lost him because he has been doing a good job in terms of especially on the business development side. And then we replaced him with someone else, and it just didn't work out how we expected it to, and that's
Mm-hmm.
just part of the game. So, when COVID came, now we decided not to fill that vacancy. So it's almost like the stars aligned because we would have been faced with some tough decisions, even tougher decisions than the ones we made during COVID, if a lot of that remained the same. So it's just something we
Mm-hmm.
have to deal with. I mean, my job as CEO is to deal with these things as they come, and ensure that the business is protected and the wheels are turning. And we'll continue to provide value for our shareholders. Some of them are very patient, some of them are uneasy. And we understand how it is. It's part of the game. It's what we signed up for. We decided that we were going to go public. It was my decision as the
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur and founder for iCreate. And it's an experience that I love. I enjoy it. The exposure sometimes is a lot, but listen, this is the arena you want to play in if you want to be in business, right? I can tell you that.
That is
This is
true.
the Yeah. I'll encourage any young entrepreneur if they want to list to go for it. Go look and see boy how them a try crucify Tyrone man. I'll go up on the stock exchange. Everybody will have different experiences, right? Um, I'm enjoying it. Nobody's gonna fucking kill that for me, right? I'm
So hold on.
enjoying it.
So
Mm.
seriously, you don't regret it now? I mean, a lot of people I think are like that. I understand what you're saying, but I mean, you don't regret listing. Like if you could have get the
No,
70 million
well,
without listing, you wouldn't have done it.
no, I think this is a great platform. Listen, Randy, I'm a ghetto youth. Kent, I'm a grow up, right? Um, with sickle cell. So my kitchen outside,
Mm-hmm.
bathroom outside, one bedroom, right? And from day one, I've been ambitious. From day one, I've been that person who is going for the things that a lot of people want to go for, right? From day one, a certain level of ambition drove me from high school to college in every aspect of life, and the stock exchange. To come from my background and to start a business and to list it on the stock exchange, it's bigger than me. It's not about Tyrone, right? This is the next Tyrone where I grew up in a Kentire who say, oh, who I can look up to, right? Who do
Mm-hmm.
I want to be like? Whose path I know and understand and can travel? My path is clear enough, right? Never have no rich uncle, nobody with money to give me a start. I'm go out there and find it and do it. I'm a list I create and it's on the stock exchange. And at the end of the
And it's
day,
a major move.
it's a
Major,
major
major
move
move.
and we're proud of it. And we're gonna have to work our asses off to make it work, right? But what my shareholders can feel good about is that Tyrone is committed to this, right? And I think they can doubt that. I'm committed to it. I'm here,
Mm.
and we're going to make it work one way or another. So I don't regret it. It's what I wanted, and it's a big decision that was taken, and we're just going to have to deal with the issues as they come. And we're going to have a fight through it. It's just what it is. Like, I mean, it's one of the best arenas to be in. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No regrets.
I mean, I agree with you there. I mean, I like that you have that. I needed to ask because I needed to hear you say it. And my
Yeah,
personal view is, I mean, listing is only sensible. It makes sense. Any entrepreneur should look to list,
yeah,
whether it be just for the exposure, or the money. And, you know, is that there's always an exit, and it gives you many options, including easier debt, easier refinancing, easier recapitalization,
Yep.
and
yeah.
yeah, as much as people might be hard on you, the truth is there's many an entrepreneur that going through what you're going through and worse, and just because they're not listed, nobody don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're too quick to try and write off people, you know.
Yes.
Yep.
That is
Business
that.
business is not an overnight thing. It's not 100 meter. And even with 100 meter, you have to put in an enormous amount of training to even
Yep.
run that 100 meter, right?
Yep.
And win. You know, like that's why you take equity and patient capital and so forth. And you know, we can't sit down and you know, in Jamaica we have a kind of culture where if somebody tries something big, or him too enough, or him too ambitious, or him too this.
Mm-hmm.
And people is why first world countries are making significant leaps, because a little man in his parents' garage can decide that they want to start a computer business that is going to be better than Hewlett Packard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And nobody now will laugh off of him. Them are going
That's
to
true.
invest in him. In a Jamaica,
That's
it's the
true.
opposite. That's why we can't even solve the e-commerce problems that we have now, and COVID came and we're shuffling, right? How we're gonna solve the e-commerce and how we're gonna do this. Thankfully, we have some good minds working at that. I say my good friend Lauren, and the economic recovery committee with some solid names and so forth,
Mm-hmm.
working towards those things. But you know, these are things that we should have solved already.
Long time.
These are things that
Long,
we
long
should have
time.
solved a long time. But you know, when a young person come with ideas that you can't understand, you shove it aside, right?
Yep.
And we, you know, go and go work little, or do this, or go do
You're
that.
not
You
ready
know
for
how
this
much,
yet.
yeah, how much people tell me I should have look a job before I start my business.
Get
All
a
of them little
job,
things.
man.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
those are the things. Why I'm so ambitious? Why I'm got list company on the stock exchange? Him not ready for it. Him not this like what the fuck? You get me? Like we have to sit down and we have to reassess how we deal with things here, and you know we have to help people to grow and get through it, and we have to invest in wild ideas and continue to encourage people to think like that, because Jamaica is at a crossroads. 5G is coming. We're in the fourth industrial revolution,
Go soon.
right? Yeah, and listen, like if we can't take advantage of these things, you know, the prime minister speak about a digital economy and so forth. If we cannot, if we don't have a workforce or entrepreneurs that are embracing this change, we're in problems. We're not going to be in
Yep.
problems tomorrow, but we're going to be in problems 5, 10 years from now. So bottom line.
Boy, we're in problems
Problems
tomorrow,
already,
you
you know.
know.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's my
Which
you know that's my take on it really. Like listen, we're gonna have the naysayers and you're gonna have that, and people entitled to their opinion, which is why you'll never see me back and forth with anybody on Twitter about iCreate, because I respect people's opinion, right? Like
mm-hmm.
people's opinion, sometimes there's even knowledge in the things they're saying. Like
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
you know walk and bash a man for so him feel. Even sometimes when them are be disrespectful, right? You take the opinion and you hear it, or sometimes you fucking ignore it.
Oh, yeah.
People give them
Yeah.
opinion, it's their position.
You have to, because I mean you touch a point there. So Lion did bring it up then, but I see it heavily for you where I mean people have been going hard on you to the point, because I can be hard on companies, and
Hmm.
I should be. I especially if I'm a shareholder, the company need to act sensible.
Yeah.
show me that they're going towards a goal that they say they're going towards. But the things
Yeah.
I've seen come to you, boy, where and it's your
Hmm.
personal account, but I see people hitting you to a point where me I feel wonder say, yo, what exactly is
There was issue
like what
here.
exactly do you expect him to say? After a
Yeah.
certain point, is 1 o'clock in the morning and him on Twitter. You want him lay out him
Half of them, I
him
say, you
yeah,
know,
well,
some like maybe more than half I don't see, because one thing I learned early: ignore both the good and the bad what people say about you. That's one of the best way if keep focus, because the good can
mm,
just you up, you know.
yeah
So that
man.
when the bad come, it hit you so hard because it I
Yeah,
get the good, and then you see the
that's
bad and you're
true.
like, what the hell? You know,
Yeah,
ignore both.
that's
Like
true.
you have to keep focus. You keep some good people around you who can advise you. You respect their opinion and views and things, right? And you work from that. You know, some of the things, some of them I'll see, some will filter through because somebody will screenshot and send to me and so forth, right?
Hmm.
But majority of them I don't see. I not go around and search what people are saying about me or all of these things and so forth. And um like sometimes if a bad thing come around, like if somebody will screenshot it and send to me or send it to my DMs and stuff, my people know not to send it to me, you know?
Yeah,
So if,
big up people like that. Big
yeah,
up the
my
people
people,
who close to you who know. Yeah, unless
yeah,
it's important,
unless it's
nah, I don't need to
important,
see it.
my people know not
Yeah.
to send it to me. I'm not gonna like try and like
Dig it out. You know,
people.
search Tyrone Wilson on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm not gonna run my business through Twitter either. Like
That's true.
if you see me on Twitter, I'm push business stuff, right? I always talk about my business. I talk about sports. I talk about music. When I get in a arguments and opinions on things with people on Twitter, like when I really do that. I love the platform. A lot of information come to me in real time and so forth. And I've been a digital media pioneer and from day one. And it's just a joy
Hmm.
to see how people are interacting on it. It's research for me. When I really live my life on it, you know, like
Hmm.
my life private, personal life private. You know, you don't see, you hardly see my wife, my family, none of that on Twitter. So people wanting to get personal with me on it, I'm not gonna see it because I'm just not that type of person. You know,
Same, same, same,
that's what I do.
same.
Yeah,
You have to protect yourself from it, man. Like, you have to protect your mental health too, because I
of
don't think
course.
people. It's like you're right. I don't. It's a Jamaican thing where of a hit and hit and hit and hit and
Yep.
hit and hit, and you step back and you say, "Yo, why?
Yeah,
What is the thing that you're hoping to achieve? Is it
Actually,
that you just
we
want me
get
to
from
feel bad?
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, a platform, we're going to have the AGM to discuss stuff, and we welcome that, you know,
Hmm.
because it's their business too. They've invested in it. So anybody who is a shareholder and unhappy or just concerned or have questions,
Hmm.
you come to an AGM and you ask the questions and you get answers. If you're
Mm.
happy with it, you stay put and buy more shares. If you're not happy with it, why you move on? Like that's what it is. That's the freedom of what the market give you, you know.
Hmm.
And you have to embrace it. It's what it is. You're not stuck with iCreate. You might stuck because your money, you lose some money, you want to gain back your money, or if you feel like you want to cut your losses and just move on, you know, that's how it works. But we understand how it is, and we respect all our shareholders, you know, like all of them, because it's not easy to just take up your money and buy into a prospectus, a startup, something new you never see it before, and you buy some
Hmm.
shares. We respect that. We appreciate that. We're happy for that. We respect them, and we are working hard for them. Like I'm working hard for them. You know, I have shares too, so I'm not happy that my shares cut in half at all. You know, so I'm continuing the work to see how I can improve on that. That's just how it is.
So, so you care about the share price?
You have to be like, who would say they're not? Like, listen, my money is in it, right?
Hmm.
My money is in it. I don't go and check it live and die by the daily movements, right?
Hmm.
But my money is in it. Why would I not care? If like my shareholders want to know that I care about their money, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they
I
do. Yes, we
yes,
do.
right. I care about their money. I care about my money. also, right? The stock price is the stock price though. There's not much you can like do rather than just work
It's
and
always
perform
interesting
and
me.
build confidence. Yeah,
It's always
like work.
interesting to me when you hear CEOs mention that this
What's
stock
that?
right when CEO said the stock price doesn't matter. So when you say that to me, that sounds strong to me when a CEO actually say, "Yo,
Well,
stock
I'm a
price doesn't matter
shareholder
to me."
too.
Exactly.
You know, I'm
If
a
I share,
shareholder too.
if a CEO tells me, "Boy, your stock price don't matter," it not really so much to me still, because
Yeah, I
I
mean,
care about my stock price. So
yeah, I don't sit down and fret over it like daily and
she's
worry,
right.
oh boy, this, boy, that, and so forth, because you really like what you need to do is just focus on growing the business. The market will
Mm-hmm.
respond, accordingly,
Yep.
um, from time to time. But of course, I have stocks in the business through e-media, and
Mm-hmm.
it. I have people who have sold a vision to with iCreate, and I care
Mm-hmm.
about how they benefit from this.
Yeah, she's right.
So my job is to ensure that they do benefit. But I think a lot of people have to understand that iCreate is a startup and it's something you invested, you buy and hold. That's what it is.
Yeah. What's your
Mhm.
ideal shareholder? That's a
For
good. That's a
iCreate,
good question. That's a good. Yeah, man. What's
yeah.
your ideal I create shareholder?
Someone who doesn't need to know much deep in the industry of what the business is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But appreciate the fact that it is emerging in terms of this whole digital and creative economy.
Mm-hmm.
It is maturing, it is getting more sophisticated, and this business, if they stick to the core fundamentals of running a company, then they stand to benefit in the medium to long term.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is, pretty much. Um, it's like what's the best company to associate it with in the overseas market, for example? It's like Apple. Think about when Apple, I was just looking back at their 1984 ad, that popular 1984 ad that they have, right? They were showing that this device will be powering creatives around the world. That's what Apple was positioned as. It's like we're going to
Yep.
power the power the creative economy around the world. Like we're going to bring excitement and color to the use of these boring devices that you guys had before. We're going to change it out. That's what it's going to do. It's going to enable so much. Um, People can do so much with these devices now, and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people didn't see it initially, but then it started doing just that. They didn't see it to the point where they kicked the man out of their own company, right? And then eventually they saw it and look at it now, and people still, even when Steve Jobs was alive and so forth, he still had challenges. No matter how much he performed and so forth, he still had challenges. But the key Apple fans who are also shareholders understood, the ideal shareholder understood how important Apple is to the world. And that is what people, my ideal shareholder is how important iCreate is to the region, to developing the regional creative economy. Like if we take iCreate out of the picture, what is going to happen as it relates to the growth of the creative economy? That's and we're putting together that message too. So we don't expect the ideal shareholder to have it as yet.
Mm-hmm.
We're building it too. It's something that we don't put the icing on the cake yet. We're still working it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that you're not pretending that you have it all figured out.
Yeah, I really love that
No.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
It,
maybe,
it,
You
maybe,
don't.
maybe, maybe the message will, the message will actually carry this time.
maybe right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't get why people don't get that. You raise a serious point in the tire. That's what we really need to talk about it. Because a Jamaican culture thing, brother. Where
Mhm.
if me say me start a business, then one year eat that you dumb, that don't make sense. Unless you have the right last name or you're brown, no, that don't make no sense. And if you
The
do have it, then
first name
people,
draw for links.
Mhm.
right?
All links in our work.
Yeah.
And you have to be able for people have to be able to go out there and work, and people also have to be able to go out there and fail.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
I would put it to them that it's just maybe because of how I think of entrepreneurship. The fact that you are listed, it is really, really, really hard to kill a listed company.
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially
it
one with so
really,
much tax breaks.
yeah, man, and not just tax break, just
It's a tax break.
just a listed company is hard to kill. The
Hmm.
last time I
And
made
there's so much
money
interest about it.
exactly. The last time I made money off Siboney
See, Bonnie.
was
Yes.
2019.
Yep.
And Siboney died in FinSac in the 90s.
Hmm.
Mm,
But the shares are still trading. You are not even anywhere near Siboney.
Yep.
yeah,
You are
it's
literally at
crazy.
the start of your journey. We are seeing what a Jamaican startup by a young black youth without well, I won't say I have any heavy links, because I have a whole heap of links.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nurtured
but
over
that's
the
good.
years.
Yeah,
Started without
exactly.
any though.
There we go. There we
Mhm.
go.
People don't understand. People put on the links thing in a bad category. In real life, you're building relationships and people you look out for people who look out for you, that type of thing there. So I can't say
Mhm.
links as a bad thing to be honest. But Jamaican people
No,
still
not
certain
at
things.
all. Not at all.
Exactly. And from a business perspective, a startup that has XYZ as its mandate. I mean, literally, the prospectus is saying, yo, here's something that you haven't seen before. We're
Hmm.
doing it. Why
Yeah.
in God's name do you expect them to be there in a year? In Jamaica, where everything moves slow.
Mhm.
Uh, Jamaica, where they're just discovering that that if somebody pays you in your bank account is kind of the same as if them pay you in your hand.
Yeah.
Still,
Western Union pushing the what you call it again with the direct to bank.
central bank. Yeah,
That's
Mhm.
crazy, like putting this. We have to wait on COVID for some people to hear about that.
right?
Mhm.
If we push into that thing like, oh yo, this is an option to you. It's even like a
Mhm.
new product.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's how bad it
It
is.
is. It is sad to me to hear it. And what I don't like is that because I understand that change takes some time. There's always some resistance to change. So I'm glad to hear Tyrone going through it strongly, because
Yeah.
I know it can be rough. I know that the things said online can be really, people don't think about it. I don't think people really consider the effects that it can have. So you need somebody like me who, when I address things certain way, like somebody says something bad, I mean, say me no waste time. I found that the way to cut through it is just to be very clear. You subtweet me, I'ma see it. If it bother me, I respond. I'm gonna have to respond to say cuss. Me say, yo, like, if you wanted me to feel bad, good work. I feel bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Or you're right or whatever. Yeah, and suddenly people kind of, if I'm, but other times we pick up the phone and call, and then people
Yeah.
start buck shuffle. I find that everybody brave behind the keyboard, and I forget that, yo, we
Middle
have so much
fingers,
strength.
bro.
We have so much strength as a country that it would be better if we help lift each other up. And also, not everybody out there who is nice and have good manners is weak. We
Exactly.
confuse a smile and good manners with weakness, and that's not how it works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
just because somebody nice and laugh don't mean to them weak, and just because you think people don't know who you are doesn't mean that you're actually unknown, right?
Yeah,
So
you're not
I don't
gonna
see the
not
point.
gonna get that response out of me at all.
Exactly. And I believe that people should know that, yo, you can question businesses and business people without going past a certain line. I mean, I've one more business, I have more business questions, but I'll ask one, because the big one is
Mhm.
the bond. You did take a big bond from
Oh
Sagicor.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
24
Yeah, what's
million
up with
at
the
what?
bond?
12 or
Right.
12.5%?
Yeah. Um. Yeah.
In these times, 12.5% wicked, no, my lads. I know they never rate you, because
No
12.5% is
man, Sajako
a rough rate.
Sajako has been there for us. Them definitely rate if we give it a one. Um,
True,
but
true,
but
true.
it's a signal that they believe, still believe in the business. but the risk
Mm-hmm.
profile, it's a reality, right?
There we go.
The risk is high. Yeah, we're
Yes.
listed on the stock exchange, yeah, but we're a startup, you know.
True.
We don't have no track record, and we just make a huge loss
Mm-hmm.
um, for in just 1 year. So yeah, we love iCreate. We want to help iCreate and so, but we have to rate this interest rate with the respective risk in mind,
Mm-hmm.
which they did. You know,
Business about it.
yeah, that's the business about it. I don't think we could have get a better interest rate anywhere else. Um, it's just based on what has been happening with iCreate. But it's a good opportunity that give us some breathing room um, to manage some of our relationships with our creditors and so forth, and accounts payables, and continue to move forward with our mandate. So it's a good um, one, and well needed cash injection, and
Mm-hmm.
it's structured to give us a lot of breathing room. Also, it's not a rope around our neck, which we're thankful for.
I
And
noticed there you have, what's it, twice every 6 months you have to pay it, right? Not every month,
right,
not every.
right. So
But
it's
on
a
the flip
good,
side, it means that every 6 months you have to come up with a nice lump sum.
yeah, definitely. But it's a good, it give us good. But if you plan properly for that, you're fine. Um, it give us breathing room, and it just a signal of Sagittarius belief in iCreate and so forth. But I think now our job is to show some performance.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
show
utilize.
some, build some confidence and not um, oblivious to the fact that we have to do that. That's my responsibility, and it's something I own fully. Um, and the more we continue to do that as we go along the way, we just build confidence in the business,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll get there.
Mm. Well, with the terms, let me go heavier business now. With the
Hmm.
terms of your company's setup in terms of like your company rules, you don't have a limit on capital. You don't have a limit on how much shares you can issue.
No.
So does that mean that we might look forward to, because I can tell you, a business with a 12%, 12.5% bond,
Mm-hmm.
unless it's a
Mm-hmm.
huge business, even the 12.5, nobody does that these days. How open are you to finding something on the market? Granted, I would tell you not the Jamaican market per se because of the bias in it currently,
Mm-hmm.
but you do have a presence larger than just Jamaica. So why
Yeah.
not raise? Why not raise heavily and clear the debt and give yourself some actual breathing room?
Yeah, I mean, fundraising takes a lot of time, and
Mm-hmm.
well, for iCreate, we don't have a surplus of resources going around to
Mm-hmm.
get into, negotiations, financing negotiations all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But it is something that I keep an eye out on every month, as a business. I think the minute we start to show some kind of stability as it
Mm-hmm.
relates to um,
Revenues and profits
revenues,
and
profits,
operations.
operations, stability in the board, stability in the leadership team. People will
Mm-hmm.
feel a bit better about iCreate, um, including potential financiers,
Mm.
So we're not ruling out um, anything in the near future from a financing perspective. It's something that we keep our eyes on. We keep our eyes on strategic partners, financiers, and so forth. And 12% is high, but at the time, given the circumstances, it matched our risk profile. The
Mm-hmm.
minute we're less risky, we have to look at it and say, okay, how can we refinance this or pay this off or so
Yeah,
forth?
man.
Yeah,
Must.
yeah, for sure.
Must, because that is wicked. But it's so funny. On the flip side, I don't think you'd have gotten it if you'd gone for it post Corona.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like, it's good that we got it before and we never try
Yep.
negotiate the interest rate anymore, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's not, but it's a great place to be. I mean, and it can be exciting. That's the thing. That's the thing. I don't, as somebody who I don't like calling myself an entrepreneur, but I do love business, and I know that the challenge can be exciting. But
Yeah,
I
man.
feel like everything else around it can really poison
Yep.
it. Yeah, and you don't want. I don't think people think about that. You don't want nobody to look on and I say, "Yo, me don't want to list because look how them a deal with iCreate." And I've heard that from business people.
And that's
Don't,
what and
yo, me
that's
don't
what
want
I'm
to list.
saying. And
Yeah,
that's why I say, like, I mean, I talk to young entrepreneurs all the time and stuff. Even my brethren Lauren, I tell him, say, brethren, what you mean? You have to go list. You
must
understand? Yeah,
tell
like,
him again.
yeah, I tell him.
Body up.
Yeah, him have to go list. And Lauren is a good candidate to list on the stock exchange because he's committed to his business.
Hmm.
He understands the business. He is a student of entrepreneurship, right? He have a good network of people who support him and behind him, and he's a good person. Socially conscious,
Hmm.
assists in society, give back even without, like, you know being flush
Being asked.
with yeah, or being flush with
Yeah,
riches and stuff. Like, you get up and you help. You see a problem and you feel, concerned about it. You want to help out.
change it. Yeah.
So he's socially conscious and support, and he's a perfect candidate for listing.
Yeah.
Sound fundamental business practices, ethical, all of those things, and so forth. So he's a good candidate. I think you should consider it. I mean, don't make like what people say about me or I create, because this thing now lasts forever. Like,
Yeah.
people change them tune all the time. When I create put out them Q1 profit, it soon change. Right?
Everybody stop talking.
Yeah, it's what it is. Like, people, some of this is what they do. Some people are financial analysts and so forth. It's what they do. You can't knock a man for what them do. The people who want to get personal, that's what them do too. Right? Them want to get personal. Me not go fight with you about that. I don't need to listen to you about that. Like, one thing I know, me not go fail. You get me? Like, me not go. Yeah, nobody now run out of Jamaica. So I just do what I have to do. But
Well, I
Lauren is
love
a
it.
good candidate.
Yeah, I said that to him. I hope him listening. I hope Lauren, trust me. I told him the very same thing on his episode, and I only believe it more and more now. And what I like is that the opportunity there exists for him and you then to start a new class of business in Jamaica, a new class of investment. Meaning, that's why I asked you what your ideal investor looks like, because I think we need to step away from the typical investor in Jamaica.
Yeah, and
Don't
it's
know
a
much.
lot of
They
it,
investing for heavy profit and they want to see dividends, and high profit all the time. Them used to invest in a careers, and if a company don't look like a careers, then it's not a
Yeah.
good company. You get me?
yeah,
Yeah,
man.
but we need to
We
understand
have to
the
widen
market.
and we have to widen the scope. Like, I have my new corporate secretary, Dimitri, Adams, who, driving a lot of things now. Like, his kind of approach as a corporate secretary is really good and refreshing. Like, we had a great corporate secretary before also, Stephen
Mm-hmm,
Gregg, um, you
mm-hmm,
know, but having now Dimitri on now too, we're just a fellow young person too, in the
mm-hmm.
thing. Like, it's great having him there and him go above and beyond, because guess what? Him a bill and grow too, right?
Yeah, he's a
Uh,
lawyer, right?
yeah, he's a lawyer and he's
Mm-hmm.
building and he's growing, and him love this. Just like how I love this too. Like, I enjoy this. I don't make nobody spoil my love and fun that I'm having, right?
Yeah.
You have, like, you want to be there, you want to have fun, and you also want to deliver, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have skin in the game. So it's that kind of thing. We have to build out. I started something the other day in collaboration with Christopherson Nunez, called Head
Oh,
Start.
yeah, man. Mm.
right?
Mm.
And what it is, we're building a large mentorship network, right? Because we have a leadership gap in Jamaica. Um,
Quite.
and when you think about some of those inspirational game changers, the Michael Manley, the Richard Biles, the Danny Williams, those, like, how many of those we're kind of creating now, you know?
That's true.
Like
That's true. The second any of them show themselves, we beat it down.
Mm-hmm.
right, and we can't have that. And it's just like some of the things that I saw happening to with me, for making an ambitious move and the kind of
Mm-hmm.
negativity that will come with it. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
listen, we can't have the narrative here for young people coming up to feel
Yep.
like it is bad to be ambitious, right?
Mm.
That is
It,
true.
yeah, it is like we have to say to them, we are here to develop you. Like, we have to develop you, we have to develop leaders, right? So I'm all for the people who, the new generation are leaders.
I,
That's
man.
that's where I'm at.
And yeah, and it's across business. Dana and I talk about it all the time in investing.
And it's going to
Yeah,
look and sound
Yep.
different. It's not going to look and sound like the norm, the traditional. It's going to look
exactly.
and
Mm-hmm.
sound different. These people
Exactly.
are doing press releases with tweets. They're
Yes.
not sending it out to the cleaner, right?
Right?
They, it's like there's so many things different, and because it's different and it don't look like what you're accustomed to. Um, it's wrong.
At the same time,
Nah,
you're
Yeah,
so
right.
wrong in it.
no, you can't handle that, man.
It's so like
You can't handle
it's so like us when I talk about investing to right because
Mm.
of the
no,
same exact thing,
Same
yeah,
thing.
man, can't sound like that. Like,
Yeah,
we have to change up the game, Bridget. Like, and we have to,
yeah, man.
Everybody forgets that people them sit them come and sit start somewhere. Them think everybody born big. So when
Yeah,
them born come to Michael Manley, so guess what? He was always that. He never start nowhere.
it
You know,
never evolve and grow.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
no, we have
yeah,
to listen. We have, even with the liars and stuff. We have, the Bert Samuels, the KD night. How much of them when they are coming from? Like, we have to kind of encourage people to be ambitious, to push out, to
Mm.
fail, to get up, to try again. That's the
to
type
try
of
something new.
environment, yeah, man. That's the type of environment we want people to survive in, Virgin. But we can't knock people for try to be ambitious or try to make it.
Yeah, and oftentimes we're not them without even paying attention to what is actually happening.
Yep.
Think about it. I mean, thankfully it's never happened on Tyrone no week. But suppose you did I read the stuff them online last year or earlier this year and it get you and God forbid something happen to you or you kill yourself or something. Stress like you wash out.
Then
We would have
probably
not seen this first quarter profit
I know,
exactly.
but
because yeah,
and
the same people balling would have caused it.
yep,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll be a different talk. That so
Yeah,
always wait until someone
It
to
would have
talk about
stayed the same week.
tomorrow.
It would have stayed the same week. Watch I quit. I eat that
yeah,
same week.
right.
Listen, so
Exactly so.
yeah, man. So you go, Bridget. Like, listen, me,
It's no in a here time. No, you
so
don't
one
hear
of the
no
things,
people.
like, I mean, we talk about it from time to time. Um, don't dwell on it because use it as a weakness or whatever. But sickle cell is a chronic disease, right?
Mhm.
Um, it
You
caused,
actually never spoke.
You
I
never
should say
spoke
that.
about
I
it.
should
You
point that
mentioned it
out.
earlier.
yeah,
Yeah, but you never spoke about it in that first episode.
no,
And I know it because a person know say you have it, but when I'm done, I say right, say should have Tyrone come and talk about that because that's a major thing.
yeah, man.
So
Like
make up
sickle
feet
cell.
now, Tyrone.
We got long for this, and it's a two-part thing. Like, oh no,
No man, we're good man. This short for our episodes, man. Sometimes we go 3 hours. But sometimes we won't be doing that today, guys, so don't
Yeah,
worry.
yeah,
We're
man.
not going 3 hours.
no. So, but like sickle cell is a thing where it causes tremendous pain because it's a malformed, mal-shaped red blood cells. So
Mhm.
typical blood cell shape like like an
Like an
O.
oval.
Yeah. And then the body produces also sickled cells that shape more
Mhm.
like a banana. and
Okay.
they carry less oxygen through the body, right? And it affects the blood count, it affects the hemoglobin level, it affects, um, you know, sometimes the breathing, and it causes significant
Wow.
pain when you're in a crisis. Like when I was younger, I can't walk. Like when sickle
Wow.
cell hit me, I can't walk. Like literally can't walk. Like your knees in pain, your ankles, or it affect your chest and you can't breathe properly. Like in 2014, I nearly died. Like legit, nearly lose my life. Like the doctors, I tell my parents and my girlfriend at the time that, well, girlfriend who's now my wife, that um, was
Good move.
50-50. Yeah, like 50-50, we are trying saving with blood transfusion, blood exchange, and it's like in a battle for my life, right? And that was as bad as it get. That was the worst I've seen it or experienced it.
Mhm.
But other cases were just really bad, like you're out. When I was going to school, sometimes in primary school, I miss all a semester, a term. In high school, we miss 2 months, 1 month, 2 weeks, and 2 weeks
Wow.
a lot of times. So you miss 2 weeks this month, next month you might miss 2 weeks too. Um, it's just one of those diseases, and I have it bad, and that's challenge to me, and it's
Mhm.
not even a challenge. Like, so those are the things I will spend my more time on trying to be concerned about my health as opposed to what somebody else is saying about me, you know. Um, but those are the type of challenges I try to overcome. The rest
Mhm.
of them is kind of easy, to be honest, So I'm just really focused on myself, And I really try get into a lot of the things.
Yeah, so you actually focused on that, and that focus helps. You know, you're a man. You love basketball. So, I didn't have to ask. I asked anyway. You watch the Last Dance,
I just finished it last night.
brother.
You
I-
fall in love with
Inspiring
my
though.
program now all over again.
You know some. You know, say every now and then I go back and I watch. We watch like episode 2 or episode
Yeah,
3 or episode 6.
it's inspiring, man. It's inspiring, Virgin. Trust me. Like,
I know I like about it. It's not. 'Cause if you look at it, it's not a perfect story.
no, no.
Yeah, no way, shape, or form is a perfect story.
In
And you see
fact,
that, yo,
you
sometimes.
know, the funny thing is, we always see Jordan as perfect. This reminded us that
Mhm.
he's not, and I never even remember that when he came back, they would lose in the playoffs. I never even remember that. When he came back,
Yes.
I thought him just come back and gone straight back and win.
Yeah,
And
he never did do it. It
I
took him a
never
little
remember.
while.
Yeah, I never remember. I never go back. He never go back to the finals that year. I mean, he came late in the game, and he was off
Mhm.
physically and stuff. But the fact is, he did not go to 6 straight finals. Like he got
Yeah.
three, and then when he come back, he
Missed
miss,
two.
right, and then him go back. But it's an inspiring story, and it just show you, you know. So you have to focus on you. Like, the funny thing is that's why with certain things, when you can't follow people, right? When Jordan's father died, the media asked if it have something to do with him gambling. You can't please people, right? Like, if like seriously, and then when him decide to retire because him just run out of energy now and him father not there and XYZ, the media start if the NBA suspend him because I'm gambling. you know?
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
and I remember him say, "Yo, man, I have a gambling problem. I have a competitive problem." you know?
Yes.
And it's just crazy, but it's part of the game. You just have to work with it. As I tell you, it comes with the territory. One thing I can tell you, if you want to go public, Yeah, it's public. It's not called a publicly listed company for nothing. You know, it's everybody's business. And you have to get comfortable with that, even who don't buy shares,
Yep.
Yes,
because they want
yes,
them
that
to
is a
buy
major
shares. So
thing.
it's their business too. You know, you're
That is
courting them.
a
Mm-hmm.
major. You know what? But I like to hear that because you don't hear that from other people in business. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, I don't talk to everybody. I can't be the I can't see for the whole industry, but you hear people sometimes speak as if
My company.
they don't. Yeah, they don't
What
expect to
am
be
I say this
questioned.
case so? And my thing, so stop talking about it.
Yeah, yeah. To quote Ryan Five Saleh, he said, public means public.
Yeah,
It literally means public because you're right. It's not just even the shareholders; it's also
yeah.
prospective shareholders.
Shareholders, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are
Perspective.
people. There are people listening now who might choose to go and become shareholders because of this.
Yep, that's very
So
All
true.
the
you
right
always,
talk today.
A man might be
yeah, you
watching how
always,
you're dealing with certain things. Why? Let's see how
yeah,
Tyrone deal with this before, man. Buy some shares. That's how you see.
exactly, yeah,
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 you're selling.
exactly. But and I still try to control what I can though because I do feel finance. I don't know if I can't speak for finance Twitter or well, I can't speak for finance Twitter at all.
Talk, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I do think that them can temper the thing, man. Cause and them not always sensible either. That's the worst part. Is one thing. My thing is if you come to people with a heavy analysis and accusation, at least make sure say your part makes sense first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Business wise,
The
I don't say a
core,
whole percent.
the core finance Twitter. Um, I like, right? And when I say the core, I mean some of the founding people who kind of set up them things, who you
Hmm.
associate with finance with them. And I'll talk about imposters, right? But the core finance Twitter people, the people you see regular who try their best to educate people about the
Hmm.
market, right? About um, about the businesses that they see on the market and about principles, rules, how to read financial statements, how to read between the
Hmm.
lines in financial statements, stuff like that. I can appreciate that.
Hmm.
I think it's, listen, we do have a huge population that buy stocks.
Yeah.
Um,
That is,
we,
we are well aware.
yeah, we're doing. So
I don't think 100,000 people. Or the number in this state, and
There are
that I
200,000 accounts. I know that
and
some man have enough
like maybe
accounts.
half of that.
And
Yeah, maybe half of
active
that.
accounts are real though. So
yeah,
Yeah.
so whatever, I welcome any initiative to increase the interest
And the
in
financial literacy
yeah, and the
overall.
financial literacy. Listen, I value financial literacy, which is why I create sponsor taking stocks,
What
right?
yeah, I say? I create don't sponsor every the earning season podcast, But I create sponsor taking. Okay,
And
go and talk, Tyrone. Go and talk.
no, I was sponsor it because we had the studio equipment and stuff. But Randy, we talk about sponsorship for this already.
Yeah, man. You
So
know I joke
we
I run,
talk
man.
about it. But like I like it, and which is why it was a no-brainer for me because it gives us the opportunity to help to amplify the voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like iCreate don't have no solid direct benefit from sponsoring taking stocks, for example, right? Because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the people who listen to these things and so forth kind of in a specific market know. But
Mm-hmm.
the thinking is that we're helping to spread financial literacy through using our creative assets, things that we have. So
Mm-hmm.
I like it and I appreciate it, and I welcome the growth of it. I mean, I don't take part in the conversations online, also mostly because I'm a CEO of a publicly listed company too. So I try to stay away from it. But if I was not, I would have to try and give insights on certain things too and so forth. I welcome it. Sometimes you have some imposters, but as I said, the core people like yourself, I hope I hope you know you're part of finance Twitter too, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
never said so, but I was there before and I'm still here. So yeah.
yeah,
And funny,
yeah, I know.
never grow with it and somebody point out something, them say, boy, from maybe the last month or two, finance Twitter quiet.
Yeah,
It's gotten a lot quieter.
yeah. Probably
Yeah,
COVID.
it's Corona, the Corona
Yeah, it's
effect. Yeah.
stressful, man. But as I say, I embrace any attempt to build knowledge, um,
Hmm.
literacy around financial markets because I'm a big proponent of people buying stocks and people investing um, in 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 businesses and people taking their company public. Like it's a characteristic of a mature economy,
Hmm.
and that is why the US is the US. These are the things that they've embraced, and I think if we can push this somewhere in Jamaica, your entrepreneurship will be better for it. You'll see a lot more,
Definitely,
So,
definitely.
yeah, man. So I am fine with the core of it. Some you have imposters. Some people aren't financed with it. If you get what I mean.
Wow.
They aren't,
Wow.
but the core people who push it, who I know and interact with, whether
Hmm.
privately or so forth, they know themselves. Um,
Hmm.
they're doing a good job of building knowledge and interest around it. We need it.
Yeah. And it will
Mm.
only continue. I believe it
Yeah,
will only
iCreate might
continue.
not benefit from some of the chatter because we're poor right now. Like for the poor, we were making losses. So finance it I gonna say what them have to say about that.
Yeah.
As I
As
said,
they should.
as they should, and they shouldn't stop,
Hmm.
right? So I'm fine with that. We need to build financial literacy. We need to. A lot of people don't know how to read balance sheet. They don't know. They don't understand cash flow. Some people don't even understand the P&L in a Bridget. Like it's a very
Boy, I tell you this,
We know. Don't we know?
Yeah, we we know. It is a lot of people don't know how to look at a set of financials and mentally translate that into what it means for a
Yep.
business and then
Hmm.
project.
yeah man
The the last part they beat a whole heap of people.
yeah man
The projection,
from man in
they're not
college,
there.
may I read annual reports. I collect annual reports. Or look on these things. I have them. We also go get the physical ones them too, right?
Hmm.
And read them through. Like when I talk just the nice, pretty looking part. Every part, you read them through. You got detail in the notes, of the financial statements and so forth. We have to build that. I mean, you guys are doing a good job in terms of even this kind of podcast. You have to get into the minds of the CEOs too. Know what they're saying, what they're thinking, who they are. Because how I buy stocks, I recommend with people buying stocks is that you invest in people. Right? That's what you invest in. So this kind of podcast, for example, create a platform for you to get in the mind of the CEO. We need
Exactly. What you think me a question you about them thing there for?
exactly. Yeah, yeah, man.
It's a real consideration to
Yeah,
have. So I'm glad to hear that from you.
yeah,
Happy to hear that from you.
yeah, man, for sure.
So the last time we had Lion here, we never pressure him, we didn't stop. But my pressure you because you are finance. So no, with everything that has happened, including Corona and your own business, yeah, you still have to give me two companies on the exchange that you think will be around and stronger in share price in 1 year. I know we asked you that last time, and
I
the actual
agree.
anniversary I can't check it yet, but we'll give a post-Corona chance to get two different ones.
I agree.
I create. All right, I want and one more and why, and one more and why.
That will come out banging up post Corona. Um,
Yeah, man.
uh, they, um, wow,
I
it's
know it's
tough,
hard, boy.
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
it's
man.
tough.
What? Wait till I do it with real money too.
Yeah, I think Meta.
Mail
Yeah,
pack. Ah,
yeah, I think
why?
Meta. They are on a side that the type of habits that have COVID has pushed,
Mm-hmm.
e-commerce is gonna
Mm.
continue. Um, and a lot more. I've seen some moves that they've made locally in terms of
Mm-hmm.
the kind of e-commerce locally also. And I think even after COVID, it will be expanded. It has, gotten the team to kind of pushing the creative juice amongst the team,
Mm-hmm.
um, especially with the constraints that they would have faced during COVID. But I think coming out of this, a lot of people will be sticking to the online methods of commerce,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Mailpack is well positioned. Kari is not sleeping during COVID, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Kari eyes are wide open, and I think they are going to um, come out stronger just based on consumer um, mindset coming out of COVID
Mm.
as a junior market company. Um, as it relates to a more senior market. Um, why that is tough, it's heavily skewed finance. Um, I think the finance market is going to have some challenges. Um, a lot of default if this thing continue. Um,
Mm-hmm. I
a
see
lot of,
Scotia just dropped the numbers and they have a spike in terms of preparation for credit losses
yeah, man, a lot
right
of,
across the board. Yeah.
they're going to have a lot of that and so forth. But I think the kind of retail businesses,
Mm-hmm.
manufacturing businesses, and so forth will have an uptick. People will maybe say um, maybe value the surgical manufacturing
The
index,
index.
right, a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more. I think that will
Mm.
pick up because what COVID has taught us, is the need to produce for ourselves a
Yes.
lot more. And I think we will be doing a lot of that, you know, for our country. Export, we'll have a bigger push on export coming out of this. And a lot of the import bill will be an effort to reduce our import bill um, significantly, especially because of the pressures that it put on our foreign exchange. Um, and I think some manufacturing companies will be coming out strong from this.
Why? Well, here's hoping. And of course, there's the biggest one of all, the biggest manufacturer and distributor currently listed. Would be Wisynco, I think.
Yes.
Wisynco would be
Yeah.
the distribution. I don't know if Separate beat them in terms of Separate is no small
Mhm.
fry either.
No.
But yeah, that's not
Yeah.
a bad look at things.
Yeah. So I
I
mean,
should
pick one, but pick an industry.
yeah, and that's not a bad look at all. I can tell,
Yeah.
boy, if in case it's iCreating don't work out, you can always come to investing.
Thank you. Yeah, man. Save a seat for me.
Yes, yes, yeah. The beauty of it is that you don't have to choose. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, man.
yeah. Yeah, so I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear from you, Tyrone. Happy to hear so
Oh
you're
man, I
not
appreciate it.
yeah,
Yeah,
happy to hear so you're not making anything call you down. I mean the
Yep.
gains coming and you're continuing,
yeah, man. I'm
and
here.
boy, I have to say it again. Maybe it's good luck, cause again, me make sure I'm not telling the people I'm not lie. I checking my shares as I speak to you because I had bought in as I told you.
Hmm.
And then I'd sold after you went on Kalila program. Big up Kalila and taking stock. After you'd gone on her program and the share price, you were very clear because we actually played the clip of you speaking.
Hmm.
You were very clear in what you said. And you're very clear in that you said, don't expect it in the fourth quarter, speaking about last year.
Hmm.
And for some reason, I think people just hear,
Yeah, everybody heard, yeah, man. Cause people cussing and people tell me, say, yo, the man go up on Kalila show and say, how is stock going to do good this quarter? I'm like, where near that? Because I, I was not getting that message. So, no, You them all here. Them log in and
I
start.
must try
You
to
might go
stay
say
away
this,
from
say
giving
team says that.
promises about stock price at all. Like
Which
I
is right.
can't give no promise where that is concerned.
Yeah, which is smart, and I'm glad you're very clear on that because we've heard rubbish around that to like
Mm-hmm.
about ourselves. Yeah,
Yep.
so, so I'm happy that you said that. I'm happy that you're doing that.
Yeah, man, free
But
market.
yeah, and I actually am an iCreate shareholder, and I
Yeah,
am a
man, I'm happy
profitable
to hear
iCreate
that.
shareholder again,
Again?
Yeah,
again.
That's
Why is
funny,
like I'm
right?
good at this?
well, I'm happy to
So
hear
but,
that, sir.
yeah, but I'm buying, sell, buy back in, buying,
Yeah.
sold at profit, and
Mm-hmm.
bought back in recently when you
And no
fell
currently
again.
profitable.
Mm-hmm.
And now currently profitable because it's timing. It's a matter of timing. I bought in at either 50 cents or a little below 50 cents.
Okay.
So it's not much profit, but it's profit
It's
nonetheless.
profit, yeah, man. Yeah, man. Just
Yeah,
like the
man. And so I
Q1.
like just like the Q, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, Tyrone. So with that, I will wrap it.
Yes, yeah, man. Thanks,
I'll wrap
guys.
it.
I
So
appreciate it.
no problem.
Yeah,
And
man.
thank you everybody for listening in. Thank you for Danai for co-hosting with me. And this has been another week of earnings season. I am Randy at RTR on Twitter.
And then I at H, then I on Twitter.
And this has been earnings season.
Season.
Thank you
There you
guys.
go, people.
Look out for us next week when we go back to doing our market analysis. All right. So we don't forget, but we're not keeping it boring and just doing it every week. All right. We have to mix
Spice
things
it
up.
a little bit, you know?
There we go.
Take care.
Boom.
All right.
Cool.
You pick him up, you lick him down, him bounce right back. What a hard man for dead.
Kill him! I just say it there! I just say it there! I just say it there!
Earnings season, bro.